Mel, and you can't see her, but she's all dressed up in bright pink. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, awesome. Look, I have the official Big Brother player handbook with me here, and it seems you broke rule number 34. Do you know what rule number 34 is?
Do I want to know? What is it? What is it? Remind me.
Rule number 34, a strategy to get to the end can be from being a nice person. However, never be too much of a nice person. If you're everyone's friend, you are nobody's ally. Did you forget that one?
You know what's really funny about that? I saw it, and I was like, surely kindness is always going to, kindness and love conquers all. I'm sure that 34 is just like a just in case rule. I didn't actually realize that it was actually going to be get me evicted. But hey, maybe I should really believe what I read now from now on. Crazy.
Did you actually have a game plan at all when you went in?
Are you kidding me? My thing is that I actually, because I'm a king of wishful thinking, I thought that, maybe I could bring the old format back and try and, I guess be me so much that people would be like, oh, you know what? Strategy talk's no fun anymore. Let's just have fun and learn about each other. But yeah, no, I was thrown to the wolves. I'm not going to lie. It was definitely not. It was a rookie error, me thinking that I could just be myself and, use my being a relative person and a friendly person as a strategy. I don't even like the word strategy. It sounds so, manipulating. Yeah.
So when Layla saved herself by winning the challenge, did you think your time was up? Because it seemed it would be close if the newbies voted for you and the OGs voted for Drew. Were you expecting a tight vote?
Do you know what's really interesting is hindsight's a beautiful thing, and the what ifs and things like that. And if Drew had won, which I thought he would because he's strong and he was meant to win, I think Layla would have gone because I reckon Tim would have done anything to make sure the newbies weren't going to gun for him later. If they evicted me. But I don't know if you realise, but the show should be called Big Little Lies, because as much as I think I know what's going on, I do not understand how many talks are had when I'm thinking that I'm cooking dinner or I'm talking to someone. They're plotting a murder against me. I missed everything. I dropped the ball so much. But yeah, do you know what? You asked me that question, and I wish I could give you an answer, but nothing is what it is anymore. Like, I'm like, are they even the real names? Like, and the people I'm talking to the real names, or they lied so much that I don't even know if that's their real name, or
I think Big Little Lies was probably the working title for Big Brother. Absolutely. So with the actual vote though, like, let's just get into the mechanics of it. If I'm adding things up right, and all of the OGs voted for you, so Dave, Estelle, Layla, Reggie, Tim, and Trevor, that would be 6 votes. It did show Sam voted for you as well because she's got a bit of a thing for Drew, so that's 7.
That's quite clear, isn't it? She's made that very clear in the minute when he walked in the door. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's 7 votes. So that means that one newbie has flipped to the OG and voted for you. Who do you think it was? Because it doesn't actually show on air who that was.
The thing about me, I guess being a flight attendant for 10 years, I read people very well. It's actually been a gift of mine to have strong intuition. So it was Gabby. I don't miss a beat, babe. I've got a photographic memory. I can tell you what they were.
There actually was a big thing with Gabby with doing her vote, because sometimes on the show they show who votes for who and sometimes they don't. And she was like, oh, I really don't know. It's the hardest decision of my whole life and all that sort of stuff. But then it doesn't actually say who she votes for. But assuming, it very well could have been you. So
Drew's better looking than me.
So
people want to look at what they want to look at.
Yeah. So now that you know, what would you have done differently if you had a do-over?
See, that's the thing, Aaron. It's the fact that I hate the what ifs and I hate regret and I hate hindsight. And even if I got a chance to do it again, you know how like we have that, oh, if I could do that, what I know now,
Yeah.
I reckon I'm so me. I don't even think I would remember, oh, hang on, I'm doing it again differently this time, because I've just been me all my life. It's just really tricky to then try and be, you know, manipulative. Like I was thinking about it this morning and I was like, if Drew had left, Sam would have been sad. And we all know Tim's crushing on Drew as well. So Tim would have been sad. I would have been eating breakfast on my own going, I've ruined everyone's bloody day. This is not fun. You know, so everything happens for a reason. So yes, going back, rule number 34, probably not be too kind. But like I said, I get so caught up in the moment of joy that I forget, oh, hang on a second, I'm not meant to be like this because I'm being watched, or this is going to make me, you know, a target. These words like target, threat, alliance, strategy, it's all these whole new words. I had to Google what they meant. It's glossary terms I've never spoken about.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't be hard on myself.
I think sometimes there might be a balance of being in between somewhere, because I mean, Marley that won the previous Big Brother, I mean, he's like clearly one of the nicest guys around, but he also did have people in the house that he was with and who he was, you know, there was some strategy in there. So I don't know, so maybe somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I've got a lot to learn. I've got to learn that balance and that poker face a little bit better. Maybe I should learn how to play poker. Maybe that might give me the understanding of how to be a little bit more subtle.
Maybe. Look, the interesting dynamic about voting is very different this year. Tim made a good point in the eviction room, saying that if you vote out one of the OGs that Australia love, you know, for example, say Reggie or Dave, for example, then if you were to make it to the end, the Australian public might not favour you because you're voting for one of their favourites. Now, however, if you don't vote for an OG, there is almost zero chance for a newbie to win. So for the rest of the housemates, what advice would you give to sort of get them around that conundrum?
Well, you know what? It's the most tricky question to answer because the OGs are a cult. Like, I don't even know, like, if I could say, like, I'm even worried they're going to listen and going to come at my house and be like, you owe us. We saved you in the first nomination. You need to give us your bread and butter right now. Like, I honestly am so, you know, like confused because like I said, like I deal with, you know, evacuations and medical procedures and grown-up talk. And then there's this and I'm like, oh God, I think I'd probably self-sacrifice myself rather than do something to a royalty, because then Australia will, you know, think that I disrespect the Big Brother royalty rule 36 plus 1, 2, 4. So yeah, I don't really know other than go with your gut instinct, but also communicate well, because the OGs don't like when someone says they're going to do something and then they don't do it. They find that really, really, you know, I believe the word is, you know, distrusting, and they question your integrity a lot. It's tricky. It's a real tricky question, because like the OGs have that much power that I actually think that I was like thinking the whole time, I just hope that I never get on the bad side of them. Next minute, definitely on the bad side of them, because I'm up against their boy, Drew's bromance.
Absolutely.
Drew and Tim's bromance. My God, and Sam's romance. Oh, bromance and romance. Yeah. It's not a good person to be up against, that's for sure.
Don't worry. If you had to stay in for a bit longer, there would have been someone else that might have ruined that romance anyway, with Tully coming in, and that's in the promos.
Oh, up. Yeah. Holy moly.
Let's have a chat about the stuff that happened while you were in the house. But let me ask you first, did you know before going in that it was going to be a half OG, half newbie house? I mean, there was plenty of rumors going around that Seven might be filming an OG series or something. What did you know?
100% definitely didn't know. I wouldn't have done it because I'm a smart girl. It's my first rodeo. they've got an insight of everything. They've felt the emotions before. Their resilience is different to mine. They understand, you know, how to be manipulative and not be so sensitive about, you know, them doing that, because they've had time to actually work out, you know, like you're forgiven after years, you know, and things like that, where I was just like, my mum always said to me, just don't say anything nasty about anyone, because, you know, you're not that type of person, and, you know, treat people how you want to be treated. And if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. So my mum's in my brain, and I'm like, I'm playing a game, but I'm trying to not lose the, you know, the pureness about me that, you know, everyone has, you know, like seen and loved for a very long time. So yeah, but they've had it. They've had the experience before, so they've let go of their manipulation and, you know, been forgiven. But me, I'm like, oh, if I do this, I'm going to be looked upon something different than what I want to be looked upon. So yeah, I wouldn't have done it, because it's my first rodeo, and when someone's done something before, it's knowledge, and knowledge is power, and they've got more power than all of my newbies together.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting. So I wasn't aware. I don't know if people knew that the OGs were going to be in the house. So I would wonder if people would actually still want to be in the season if they knew the OGs were in there, because there probably is. You look at them and think, I've got no chance of winning now, or no chance of getting very far. But were you a Big Brother fan before this season? Like, did you know Drew and Dave and Reggie and Tim?
I like, obviously, you know, I had seen a few seasons before. I haven't been in the cult, like where I've just been like this, you know, super fan where I've watched episode because of commitment. Like being a flight attendant, you're not always there to watch a certain program. But I had an idea, and I loved the old format. I actually loved the old format because it just showed people just being their silly, quirky selves without thinking, hang on a second, if I do this, I might be a target. Like it was a different format. And I loved that it was live in Australia, you know, had a bit to say about, you know, where the votes were put and things like that. But hey, a lot's changed. 2022, I can't want things to go back too far, because otherwise I'd be being greedy.
Absolutely. Hey, one of the biggest storylines that had Australia talking was the relationship between Sam and Josh. Josh admitted on the previous podcast that he had actually set it up that Sam would be in the house so that he could reveal his feelings. What do you think about, I guess, that strategy, or about what happened in the house with those two?
I actually am more like turned on by Josh and excited about Josh, because that grand gesture is what girls want. It's a notebook. It's oh my God, a guy likes a girl that much. He puts himself in that situation to plead his love on national, you know, camera. Like that's what every girl wants. And
oh wow.
Yeah, I might bloody follow him and try and get him to fall in love with me as much as he fell in love with Sam, because that's what we all hope for. But yeah, I think Josh is an awesome guy, and I'm quite close to him now, as in because I've seen like a different side of him. He's not a villain. He's just a guy that is unapologetically himself, very raw, cries on camera, which hopefully gives that 13-year-old boy that I can cry. It's sexy to cry. It's sexy to be vulnerable. Hey, he's got me thinking about getting a ticket to Byron Bay. So
yeah, for sure.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. And anyone that loves so hard, that's a good quality to have.
Oh, it's beautiful. So, so what were your thoughts when Josh started telling everyone to vote for him, to be evicted? You know, were you obviously sad about that, or understandable, or?
I was understandable, because as much as it's a game, people's livelihood is being affected. And he came to me and he was like, listen, Mel, I know that you want to flip the script and not make it about the girl, and, you know, like, you know, really, you know, like show me in a different way, but I'm not coping. If Sam or Estelle goes home, I will be, you know, a big liability to the house. So I owed it to him to give him what he, you know, needed to I guess feel sane and happy.
Let's have a quick chat about you now. You were a flight attendant, as you mentioned before the pandemic. Then I think a receptionist. You obviously very people-orientated roles. From
Mm.
seeing you in the house, is that your element? Just building rapport with people?
Oh, 100%. Like, I love the fact that, I feed off people's energy for starters, but also my favorite thing to do was to board a plane. And then if that grumpy person, I boarded at 6 a.m, was grumpy, I would do anything to make him smile. I would be like, listen, I've hung your jacket up. I've done this. I've actually know that you actually need, some leg room because you're quite tall. And when he would be like, you know what, Mel, you were loud when you boarded me in the morning, but geez, you really, really made my day. I'm like, yes. I won him over because I like to leave people with an unforgettable happiness, like it's a ripple effect. Maybe he'll tell his work colleagues and then his work colleagues might, be in a happier mood and then they might get the deal. I'm a real ripple effect, random acts of kindness type of person. People, I've always been a people person. That's why I keep bouncing from those jobs.
Does everyone, funny question, but does everyone like you on your first meet, or with all that energy and your height, do they wonder who's that girl, but then warm up to you?
The best thing about it, I've never had to introduce myself to anyone ever again. I'm unforgettable. But being my energy, you're self-aware. So if you've got a headache, I'm not going to talk loud. I'm not stupid. Like I adjust. My sister even will say to me, and I love her, oh, Mel, I'm not answering your call because I can't deal with you right now, because she doesn't have the capacity or time to have an upbeat conversation when she's got 2 kids running around and she's trying to do a Zoom meeting and stuff. And that's what becomes, the power of me, of not taking anything personally and understanding that, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but you can actually adjust when you need to adjust, but also people are allowed to be them, like not everyone has to be the same. Otherwise the world would be boring. We've all got to have our own style and, authentic selves.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's your dream job then? Like, where would you like to be?
Do you know what? Like it's interesting because a lot of people are like, oh, I could see you on radio, or I could see you doing a presenting role, or I could see you doing this because, I really enjoy spreading joy and, I guess being a people shaker and reminding people of their strengths and, and giving an insight of, what they could do rather than what they should do. A lot of people always say, you're the type of person that says what other people think they can't say. Like, I'm the girl that goes, call him again, message him again, because it's 2022. It might not be he's not just into you because we watched the movie. It might be the fact that something else is going on. Or, maybe he doesn't understand that he is, like ghosting you, but he doesn't mean to like reject you. It's just more the fact that, he's looked at the message and he hasn't, you know what I mean? And 98% chance I'm right. The other day, someone said to me, God, you're wise. And I was like, I don't have time to keep on believing that it is just black and white. We've got a lot of grey. A lot's changed from the last 2 years. And some people don't just write back to someone because they're interested in someone. Some people don't write back because they've got a lot of other stuff going on. So instead of saying, hey, make it about me, why aren't you writing back? Are you okay? And then you understand where someone's at, rather than, oh, they're just not into you, or they're just rude, or some girls are like, those swear words, but I'm not going to say. But yeah, you've got to actually understand people on a different level.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. As we sort of conclude this podcast, obviously ask everyone, who would you like to see win Big Brother?
Dave, definitely Dave. Like, he does so much with the Rough Track charity. He's selfless. He's a really, really, really genuine good bloke. And I'd love for him to, get that winning feeling, but the prize to do better with his charity. It'd be really magical, actually.
Yeah. So what's up for you next after this? Are you coming back for are they going to have the reunion sort of in the finale? Are you coming back for that?
Yeah. That, like this is my first rodeo. I guess that's what happens. I'm just waiting to see. But I think we're all waiting to see what happens next. This is a new format.
Well, Mel, you are a bundle of joy, even a bundle of joy in this interview, and you brought a lot of love to the house, and thank you for that, and thanks for the chat tonight.
My pleasure. You have a good day, and I'm sorry you were up so early.
It's all good. Thank you, Mel, from Big Brother 2022. That's it for tonight. Thank you for listening. I'm Aaron Ryan. I'll be back with the third eviction very soon.